Hey everybody, welcome back to Gideon Stuff. It is late at night, and I just got back from a little excursion to northern New Mexico, doing a little bit of running around in the Valles Caldera and the Bandelier wilderness, having some fun. Got back, just got out of the shower, and I had a couple of packages waiting for me on my doorstep. So we're gonna go ahead and crack those open and see what we got. We do have two packages, like I said. I think I said. We have this, which is from Temu. Then we have this, which, as you can see, is from Ragweed Forge. Now, this was presumably sent to the channel by Zach. So let's go ahead and bust into this first. We're going to use the SE6. I took this with me on my little trip. It was my first adventure with this knife, and I think I'm gonna like it. So far, the only thing that I have a little bit of trepidation with is the finger choil. I'm not a huge fan of finger choils, forward finger choils, as you guys might know. And the sheath is interesting. Overall, I think I like it. There's one thing that I'm not a huge fan of, but I think it'll be overcome. Anyways, go ahead and pop into this. I have no idea what's in here, as always. However, Zach did leave a comment on the unboxing video for this knife, actually, saying that there was Mora on the way. So I have no idea what Ragweed Forge is. Okay, it looks like it's a dealership, because we have 2, 3. Okay, all right. I thought this was gonna be a single knife unboxing. That's what I get for thinking. Okay, all right. Let's go ahead and take a look. So Moras, I don't think I've ever actually reviewed a Mora on the channel. I've showed Mora knife several times. I've owned several Mora basics and 1 or 2 companions over the years, and I give them away like candy. Seriously, I keep one in my truck. I don't have one right now because I gave it away, but almost every single time I go hiking or camping with someone for the first time, I'll hand them a Mora knife to use while we're out there. They can carry it, they can use it around camp, whatever. And I always end up just letting them keep it by the end of the trip. It's kind of become tradition now that if it's your first time on an adventure with Gideon, you get to keep whatever Mora he's got in his truck. So I'm not sure what we've got in here, but we have. Okay, all right. I'm trying not to read too much. I see a Mora right here, so let's grab that first. But yeah, where I was going with that is I've showed Moras on the channel several. Well, I don't know, only a couple of times. Honestly, they've been shown a couple of times on the channel. But I go through them so quick. I don't think I've ever reviewed a Mora, which is really weird. Okay. All right. So right away, I like what I'm seeing here. I don't think this is a Garberg. I think. Oh yeah, this is the Amberg. This is their new one that has the new sheath. I'm actually really interested in that sheath. We're not going to keep using the SE to open stuff. Let's go ahead and grab the PM2. Oh, okay, that was already open. All right. Do you guys get weirded out when I make videos not wearing my glasses and stuff? I had a friend tell me today, I need to go to the optometrist or whatever and get new glasses. And I had one of my friends tell me, well, I was telling them that I might get contacts this time, and they said, please don't. You look weird without your glasses on, so we'll see what happens. Okay. That's all we got in there. All right. Little rubber belt loop, it looks like, with an attachment point here. And here is the sheath. I really like the way this looks. Orange, I love orange for my outdoor knives. I like the color being very visible. Okay, looks like our little thing slots in right here. So let's slot that in. Yep. Okay, and yeah, so we got a dangle, and we've got some rotation. It actually looks like, is this set up for left-hand carry right now? I think so. So how would I am not left-handed. I know something that you do not. I am not left-handed. You kill my father, prepare to die. Okay. We'll figure that out here in a second. Well, I know how to figure it out, but okay. Let's take the knife out. Now I know why the box is already open, and this is a knife that is going to become a permanent part of my collection, and one of my favorite knives, and this is going to become a channel mascot. I'm glad I opened this one first. Okay, so before we get on to shenanigans, so here's the knife. Very high polish, stainless steel blade, which their stainless steel is 12C27, I believe. I really do like this like clip point blade with a nice big belly. Pretty thin. The spine is not that sharp. This immediately kind of strikes me more as a hunting knife or like a camp knife, something that I would use around camp for random tasks, including food prep, gear repair, things like that. But yeah, hunting / camp knife, very comfortable in the hand. These ergos are amazing. Very, very like tactile, but just shaped very, very well. It feels good. It feels really good. Okay, so as for the little sheath here, I believe we can pop this out and just turn it around. Does that? Maybe that's not the case. I would assume that is the case. Okay, now we'll mess with that in a second. Let's look at the front of this knife. Can you guys see that right there? This has been engraved. It says Desert Gnome. So I'm pretty sure that's a term that was made up by Zach in my comment section. I'm the Desert Gnome, of course, in case you guys didn't get that. I do run around the desert a lot. And I am rather short, like a gnome. My driver's license says I'm 5'10", but I think that's a lie. I think I'm actually 5'9". I don't know how tall I am, actually. I need to figure that out. I think I'm 5'9", but I'm not a big guy, and I do run around the desert a lot. Desert Gnome. And that's one of those inside jokes that we have on the Geeky and Stuff channel. I've seen other people pick up the Desert Gnome. I don't know. Joke and run with it. I've been called Desert Gnome quite a few times in the comment section, which I'm okay with. I love that. And you know what? This is now the Desert Gnome knife. I was actually talking about in the unboxing of this knife how every summer I teach a couple of classes at the community center, and most of the classes I teach like geology classes, obviously, but then I also every once in a while teach a little like a foraging class and stuff. This is gonna be my new knife for that class. Okay, let's figure out this sheath. I think this thing should just pull out, and then I'll be able to just like turn this around, and that'll make it right hand carry. But that's proving to be rather difficult. Or maybe I'm just weak. That could also be the case. Yeah, click on polymer knife sheath, click on with belt loop. Okay, yeah, it looks like they're separable. All right. We're going to blame this on it being late night. Okay, we're going to blame it on that. I also got a haircut the other day, so... And when I say I got a haircut, I mean I gave myself a haircut, so... Aha! I was about to make a Samson joke, but we don't need to anymore. I almost put it back in the same way. Okay, there we go. Bam. Bam. Bada bing. Bada boom. I really do like the green and the orange. I match a lot of my field gear. I like green. I like kind of OD green. That's a color that I use for my field gear. I started doing that when I did my field camp for my geology degree, and I did it because I just wanted my stuff to be easily recognizable as mine in camp, and then I just kind of stuck with that. So I do like orange because of the visibility. I like the green because that's just kind of my go-to gear color. So yeah, there we go. That's awesome. Thank you, Zach. The knife itself is very, very cool, but the fact that this is now the official Desert Gnome knife, you know, that kind of makes this knife automatically legendary on this channel. So, thank you very much. All right, let's keep trucking because, okay, there are 4 knives in here. What is going on with these ones? Okay, you know what? Let's save this one for a second. All right, all right, so Ragweed Forge, thank you for supporting our small business. We hope they serve you well. Established 1998. There's their info. Check them out. Enjoying your purchase. Every share helps to get our small business noticed, and we truly appreciate the support. Hey, go follow them on their socials. I will follow them, and I'll link their Instagram. I don't really do Facebook. I sometimes do Instagram, so I'll go follow them and give them a link down in the description. Okay. Got some blading, engraving. Okay, and they wrote thank you, and yes, this does confirm that it is from Zach. Okay. So we have a Mora Basic, Ragweed Forge exclusive, and a Mora Companion. Okay, again, these are the 2 Moras that I have used. So let's go ahead and pull these out. There we go. So these ones are probably going to stay in the collection. These will be ones I don't give away because they came from Zach. This one's carbon steel. So here's your basic. I do need to review these knives, so I guess it's good that I have these now. These will be the Moras that I review. Again, they've popped up in other videos on my channel on and off throughout the years, but there we go. I do really, really like the deep red color and the black sheath. That's really good. That's really cool. So there we go. Again, Moras are kind of regarded as some of the very best fixed blades that money can buy. They're very affordable, but they're competently made and they're easy to use. And here's our companion. I think I actually gave, well, the first companion I got, I think I gave to my dad, and the second one I think I actually gave to one of my brothers. Might have to correct that. But once again, I like the black and red. This one is in stainless. Yeah, look at that. Very, very classic knife look. Kind of looks like a steak knife almost. Great ergos in the hand. These make excellent fishing knives. And then of course Mora does have a dedicated fishing knife that's made out of the handle's cork so it floats. That's kind of cool. But yeah, there we go. Cool, cool, cool. Again, I have showed both these knives on the channel before a couple of times, but these ones will get dedicated reviews finally. Okay, not going to spend too much time on those ones. Let's go ahead and move on to this. Okay, so I'm very curious about this. Peltonen Knives M95 Ranger Puukko, made in Finland. Ooh, so it's like an actual thing. I have never heard of this brand. Cerakote and Coyote color. Okay. Again, I also really do like Coyote Tan for a lot of my gear. If I can't get it in OD green, Coyote Tan is my next go-to. So we'll see if this matches. In fact, look at this. Look at this. I've got a couple knives right here. Some of my most favorite adventuring knives. My Cold Steel SRK in green and the Off-Grid Backcountry in Coyote. Okay. Oh, and then look at this. I also have my, I just so happen to have my Camillus folding saw here that is green. That's a cool item. I need to make more content about this. Okay. Let's go ahead and bust into this. Again, I've never heard of this brand. I have no idea what to expect here. I've also never used a Puukko. I'll talk about that when I get this looked at. Okay, so actually it's a little bit bigger than I was expecting. What other secrets do you hide? Ah, the sticker kind. 30 years of Peltonen knives. Okay. Maybe I've heard of them before. I don't know. They've been around for 30 years, so maybe I've heard of them and I just forgot. That is possible. My memory's kind of shit. Okay, we've got some propaganda here. Instructions and safety information. It's always kind of cool seeing a instruction pamphlet where English is not the first language on there. I don't know. It's neat. Okay. Now let's look at what we've got going on here. Okay, so we have knife and we have sheath. And we have Velcro something. Okay, this is not Kydex. This is... Whoa. It's got like a little roller ball in it. And... Okay, we do have a drain hole. We have a slot here. Assuming this has something to do with this. We also have, again, like really weird kind of attachment points here. Okay, we might have to read those instructions here in a second. I hardly ever read instructions because I have an overinflated sense of self-worth, I guess. All right. Very effective blade cover. Okay, this one's also been engraved on the spine, and it says Dune Rat. I have called myself a desert rat on the channel many times, and Dune Rat, I'll absolutely accept that title. Sand dunes are awesome. I love dunes. I talk about dunes a lot. White Sands National Park is pretty close to where I live. It's a cool park. Great Sand Dunes National Park was the park that was a national park that was closest to me when I was a kid. Pretty cool park there in southern Colorado. My favorite national park actually is Arches. I don't know why, but I do like Arches better than places like Yellowstone and the Tetons and things like that. I like Arches better than Zion and Canyonlands and things like that. But anyways, one of my favorite things about Arches is the geology. And a lot of the geology out there in the Entrada Sandstone is dune formations, Aeolian said deposits. So I like dunes. Okay, onto this knife. I love the brown. It's a good brown. I like it. I like how long the blade is. It's long, it's robust, it's thin, and the knife feels so well balanced. And this handle is nice and thick and rubbery. Really gives me a good grip. Now, again, I've never really used a Puukko before. They're very, very popular outdoor knives. They're very, especially across the pond, right? But I know that a lot of people over here, too, like them a lot. A lot of like bushcraft content that you see on YouTube is based on, is either like, I mean, you've got the Dutch bushcraft channel, but even American channels that do a lot of like bushcraft are mostly on the East Coast, like Appalachia, places like that. Growing up, my family, my grandpa, my paternal grandfather's side of the family, were loggers. And so growing up, learning woodcraft was really, really important for me. You know, we would chop our own firewood, make our own lumber and stuff. And so it was, you know, very important for me to not only understand how wood works, but also because a lot of time was spent out in the log woods, harvesting trees, it was important to learn, like survival skills and bushcraft skills. However, I never once growing up ever saw anybody use a knife like this with a Scandi grind or of this type of style. And that was mainly because I did not see a lot of people using fixed blades in general. And that might sound weird, but axes and hatchets were what I was taught was your best survival tool. And I grew up in the Rocky Mountains, and basically what I learned from my dad, my grandpa, a bunch of the old timers was your axe or hatchet is your main tool out here. Your knife should be a folding knife in your pocket. And that is for small tasks, whatever they are, cutting a string, cutting your sandwich, whatever. If you have to do anything that involves wood, bushcraft, you want to have either a saw or an axe. And axes were kind of seen as the generalist survival tool. If you get stranded somewhere, you got to make sure you have an axe under the seat of your truck, in your ATV, in the filler buncher, right? Hatchets and camp axes. Camp axes were most common that you'd see stashed under a seat or something. And a camp axe essentially has a head that's about the same size as a hatchet head or a little bit larger, but it has a long handle. They're single bit. And those, I was taught how to make a fire using an axe, how to strike steel with an axe, and things like that. And so it wasn't until I started exploring southern New Mexico, when I moved to southern New Mexico, and I started spending a lot more time out in the desert, that I kind of shifted away from axes and more towards large knives. Now, that wasn't entirely because I moved to southern Mexico. I started carrying more survival type knives when I actually was working as a cowboy out in the Rockies. But as I spent, more time running around the entire American West, from deserts to alpine lakes, from prairies to, desert scrublands, I kind of really adopted this, I guess, mentality of using a knife as a survival tool. Something like that SE6 that I just had. Where did I put it? There it is. This is what this is what I think of as the best survival tool for my kind of adventures now. Because this is very, very useful in the desert where an axe really is not that useful. Firecraft in the desert is very different from firecraft in a ponderosa forest, right? Harvesting is different. Breaking down that wood is different. Finding good fire starter is different. A knife does that very, very well, and an axe is just a little bit cumbersome. The other thing, too, though, is this does also work in the ponderosa forest, and it's a little bit easier to carry if I'm doing a 15-mile backpacking trip, right? So I have really become a big fan of knives as survival tools. Now, obviously, I also really like knives as thrival tools, right? If you're going out camping and you just want to spend a couple days out there and stakes really aren't that high, you just want to chill for a little bit, maybe do some fishing or do some hunting and stuff, I like to use my knives around camp for all kinds of things. And something like this Puukko, I think, is going to be really, really great for stuff like that. But I do think that this also could fall into a survival knife role as well. Okay. So, let's figure out this sheath. Okay, there we go. Okay, so it does go all the way in, and the wheel kind of rolls up over the guard. You do have a push-off point here, and the knife comes out. Very, very sturdy. What was the steel on this again? Did it say? NATO stock number. That's kind of cool. Originally for military use. I do not see a steel marking on the box. Where did I put the propaganda? It might have it here. I'm listening to a lot of Red Hot Chili Peppers recently. Okay, you know what? Let's figure out the, we can figure out the materials later. Let's figure out the sheath first. Oh. Oh, yeah, okay, so that's pretty simple. Oh, that's an interesting way to achieve modularity. Now, interestingly, they show you do not do a cross draw with this. No, no, no. Naughty, naughty. Okay. So this is very simple, but actually kind of smart. So just throw that through there. Let's see here. Let's actually go like this. Yeah. Why don't you do like that? Go over. Go through. Oh. So that gives you some options. Interesting. What if I just did this? Does this work? Kind of. Yeah, okay. I could do that, or I could do this. Let's see. Yes, you guys are going to watch me do this. I got some complaints on one of my unboxing videos the other day. Someone was like, "You take too long. You take too long." Thank you. Next question. Yeah, okay. Maybe come down to there. Adjust that. Now let's give it a little bit more room. There we go. And then you just, yeah, and that's just your loop. I have mixed feelings on that. We'll see how I think, we'll see what I think about that as time goes on. The retention on this is very good. It's very interesting retention. So yeah, so this is originally designed for military use. And yeah, this does kind of seem like a fighting knife mixed with a survival knife mixed with a bushcrafting knife in a way that I haven't seen very many other knives accomplish. They did not quite knock off the burr on the edge here. Let's test sharpness real quick. I can just see there's a little bit of metal still left on the tip, kind of giving it a smush tip. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Yeah, it's sharp. This is a this is a stout grind. Great sharpening choil, great ergos. I've got to be completely honest with you guys. I am really looking forward to testing this out. This has got me very excited. Like right now, I'm just thinking about all these different things in my head where I'm like, I'm not sure how this will perform at this task. I'm not sure how this will handle X, Y, Z. And that's actually really exciting to me. Because something like this Essie, I kind of know more or less what to expect from it. Again, this weekend was kind of my first time adventuring with it, and a lot of what I thought a lot of how I thought it would perform is exactly how it performed. I just really need to, test it and use it a little bit more to get, a complete picture of it. This knife, I really have no idea what to expect. The weight, the weight is very interesting. Again, the weight and the balance makes it feel like a fighting knife, and kind of the stoutness of the blade and the way that it kind of gives you tip control. The ergos, though, like the handle itself makes it feel like a bushcraft knife, and the blade geometry and style kind of makes it feel like a survival knife. This is a hollow grind, but it's a very, very stout one. It's a long knife, too. Like, again, I'm not really familiar with Puukko or Scandinavian knives in general, which is interesting. I do have Scandinavian history, but I'm very far removed from it. Yeah, I'm really excited about this. This is something completely new for me. This is something completely different. And this is one of those knives that I am going to be very, very excited to take out into the desert, take it out to the Rockies to climb some peaks. This is interesting. This is very, very interesting. This is actually potentially going to be one of the most interesting knives I've reviewed this year, because this is kind of unlike anything I've experienced before. I'm very excited for this, guys. I'm very, very excited. Do we want to do sharpness testing with the other knives? Because I did it with that one. I don't know if we have to, but we can. Dune Rat. I like that. Desert Gnome. Most Moras, it's sharp. It's a little bit of a rough edge. I feel like that's my experience with most Moras, so it's not like that surprising. I'll probably hit that on a ceramic rod and or a strop here in a little bit. Let's test these ones. I really do like this burgundy and black color scheme. Yeah, kind of the same thing. Like it's sharp. It's definitely sharp. Like this will probably shave hair, but it's just a little bit toothy. And I like toothy edges, but only on some steels, and these typically are not what I want. Do we want to do this guy? I think we kind of already know what to expect, but we'll do it anyways. Oh, actually, this one's a lot smoother. This has a little bit of a more well-refined edge, so I guess I'm glad we tested it, right? But yeah, there we go. 4 very interesting knives. Again, these 2 are ones I have a lot of experience with already, but I've never reviewed. I was actually thinking the other day, I was at Walmart and I saw both of these there in Walmart, and I was like, oh, I do need to pick up some new Moras, so I don't have to do that now. Thank you, Zach. This one, this was one of my favorite things that I saw coming out of like the SHOT Show footage. I really love the SHOT Show, out of all the Blade Show stuff. This was something that was very interesting to me. I really like the stylings of this. I'm really, really curious to start using this. And of course, it's got an inside joke. And then this knife is really tickling my my interest. This is something very, very exciting. So there we go. There are 4 really cool fixed blades. Zach, thank you again. Guys, he has been like almost single-handedly keeping this channel going with content. I am still working my way through. In fact, I've got some right here. Some knives that he sent a while ago that I need to get reviews done for. But yeah, great guy, great friend of the channel. If you guys see him in the comments, tell him thank you. We all appreciate what he does. But that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Big shout out to my channel members at the Cowboy level. I appreciate everything I do for the channel. If you want to become a member and support me directly, there's a link down below. As for the rest of you hooligans, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment below, and subscribe. I've been Gideon, and I'll see you in the next one. Adios.